Deep within the heart of an ancient forest, hidden from the prying eyes of the world, there exists a place shrouded in mystery and whispered rumors, a place where reality seems to bend and the boundaries between the living and the dead become blurred. It is here in this secluded spot that the haunting secrets of the River of Lost Echoes are finally revealed. The air grows heavy with anticipation as explorers venture into the unknown. What will they find at the end of their journey? Will they uncover the truth behind the legends? Or will the secrets of the river remain lost forever? Join us as we delve deep into the eerie depths of this enigmatic waterway and explore its haunting past. A team of explorers heard a mysterious call while trekking through the dense foliage of an ancient forest. Intrigued and somewhat apprehensive, they decided to follow the sound and soon realized it was coming from a nearby river. As they approached the bank, they saw something that made their hearts skip a beat. Dozens of disembodied voices could be heard echoing from the water, each one whispering stories of a bygone era. Lost Echoes is the name given to this enigmatic river, due to the strange whispers that can be heard emanating from its depths. These disembodied voices have been captivating the imagination of those who hear them for centuries, leaving many to wonder about the origins of this haunting phenomenon. The explorers were no exception, and as they stood on the bank listening to the echoes, they couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. As the explorers ventured further into the forest, they began to realize that they were not alone. Strange apparitions flickered at the edge of their vision, just beyond the reach of their sight. They could feel the presence of unseen observers watching their every move. The trees themselves seemed to whisper secrets in the wind, adding to the growing sense of mystery and intrigue. Despite the unsettling atmosphere, the explorers pressed on, determined to uncover the truth behind the Lost Echo River. Their determination only grew as they heard the faint sound of singing carried on the breeze. Curious, and perhaps a bit reckless, they followed the sound, hoping to find its source. Little did they know that what they were about to discover would change their lives forever. As the explorers continued their journey, the forest grew darker and more menacing. The playful whispers of the trees turned into ominous growls, and the gentle rustling of leaves became a chorus of screams. They could feel the temperature drop around them, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. Fear began to creep into their hearts, but they pushed it aside, refusing to let it consume them. Finally, as the path ahead grew too treacherous and dark, they realized they had reached their destination. Before them lay a clearing, and in the center stood a towering oak tree, its gnarled branches reaching towards the sky like the arms of a giant. And at the base of the tree, hidden among its roots, was a small cave. From within, they could hear the faint sound of singing, and it was beckoning them closer. With a mix of trepidation and excitement, the explorers decided to enter the cave. As they ventured deeper into its shadowy depths, the singing grew louder, becoming a haunting melody that echoed around them. The walls of the cave were adorned with strange symbols and markings that seemed to glow faintly in the darkness. Each step they took seemed to lead them further into a labyrinth of tunnels, all leading deeper into the heart of the mountain. As the explorers continued their descent into the earth, the air grew colder and damper, and they could feel the moisture seeping into their clothes. The silence of the cave was broken only by the sound of dripping water, and it seemed to amplify their every footstep. Suddenly, the tunnel opened up into a vast cavern, and what they saw before them took their breath away. In the center of the cavern was a crystal-clear pool of water, and it was filled with an ethereal mist that swirled and danced in hypnotic patterns. The singing they had heard from outside the cave was coming from the pool, and it seemed to be calling out to them. As they approached the pool, they could see that the water was not still, but was moving in a circular motion, as if something was churning beneath the surface. As they stared into the depths of the pool, they saw a faint image shimmering within the water. At first it was nothing more than a blurry reflection, but as they continued to watch, the image began to take shape. It was the face of an old woman, and she seemed to be staring back at them with knowing eyes. Her expression was serene, yet there was a hint of sadness in her gaze. As the explorers stood mesmerized by the image in the pool, they felt a sudden shift in the energy of the cavern. The air grew colder, and the temperature dropped several degrees. The singing from the pool grew louder, and they could feel the vibrations in their bones. Then, as quickly as it began, everything went silent. The singing stopped, the mist dissipated, and the image in the pool vanished. Before them stood a tall, regal woman with flowing white hair and piercing blue eyes. Her skin was pale, almost translucent, and her features were both beautiful and haunting. She wore a long flowing gown that shimmered with an otherworldly light, and her hands were adorned with intricate silver bracelets. The explorers were stunned by the apparition before them, and they could only stare in awe and disbelief. The woman regarded them silently for a moment, her eyes seeming to bore into their souls. Finally, she spoke in a voice that echoed with an ancient power. "Who are you mortals who dare disturb my slumber?" The explorers stammered, trying to explain their presence in the cavern. They told her about their journey and how they had followed the whispers of the lost Echoes River to this place. The woman listened patiently, her expression unreadable. When they finished speaking, she remained silent for a long moment, and the explorers could feel the tension building between them. At last, the woman spoke again. "This is a place of great power, and you have trespassed into realms that are not meant for mortal eyes to see. You have awakened me from my eternal rest, and now I must test your worthiness to see if you are worthy of the knowledge that I possess." The explorers, though nervous, were determined to prove themselves worthy. They had come too far to turn back now, and they knew that whatever trials lay ahead, they would face them together. The woman nodded, and a faint smile touched her lips. "Very well, I shall test you, but be warned, for only one of you will be deemed worthy and allowed to learn the secrets of this place. The others will be forever banished from these realms." The explorers looked at each other, their faces grim but resolute. They knew that whatever the outcome, they would face their fate together. And so the tests began, and the explorers were put to trial to determine their worthiness.